DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com, Overseas Basketball Blueprint.com, balloverseas.com. The topic here is game repetitions. You got to get those reps in. Players always ask me a lot of different questions about playing basketball overseas. A question that I don't get asked that often, but a question that players should be asking me about, or a challenge that players should be concerned about, that I don't think enough players are concerned about, especially those of you, again, who don't come from highly decorated backgrounds, or you don't have a ton of just basketball experience under your belt, but you want to play professional basketball. Understand something. You need a ton of game reps to be ready for what's going to be asked of you. Not asked of you, but we should swap that word out with demanded of you when you're playing professional basketball overseas. Understand something that I've said in videos already. There's already an episode that I put out that said overseas basketball is not like any pro-am league that you see in any big city in America in the summertime, where they're clearing the side out and guys are going one-on-one and people are getting their highlights and putting them on YouTube and Instagram. Overseas basketball is not played like that. The coaches do not tolerate that. You will get pulled out of a game at best and released from your contract at worst if you go over there trying to play like you play in some summer league or some random pickup game or whatever you do in the United States in the off season. People call playing pickup, ain't really pickup. Nobody's really playing defense. It's just a series of people going one-on-one, but it's 10 people on the court. You can't play like that overseas. And understand, as I've said before, it's a very team-oriented game. And to play that team-oriented game, you have to know how to play team-oriented basketball. You got to know how to play 5-on-5, how to move without the ball, how to be a threat and be active on offense even though you're not getting any shots, how to be in the right place on defense, how to talk and communicate on defense and do the right things instinctively, not because the coach told you this is what you need to do this. Understand, people, we're talking about a professional job. Yes, it's basketball, but it's a professional job. And you know what that means? When you sign up for a professional job, ladies and gentlemen, there are some things that your employer will expect that you already know when you get there. Yes, they will teach you some things, but they're signing you with the anticipation that you already know some stuff, or they're bringing you in to find out how much stuff you already know. And if you don't already know enough, they will let you go and they'll get somebody who does already know some things. Because if you really think about it, a player who, let's say there are two players. There's you, who doesn't really know a lot, but you have a huge capacity for learning. And then there's a player who knows a whole lot because they have a lot more game repetitions than you. They got a lot more game experience than you. Y'all are the same age, about equal in talent, same position, same size and everything. The team is probably going to take the player who has the experience over you. And the reason why, even though you're a very teachable and coachable player, the reason why is because despite the fact that you're teachable and coachable, I still had to teach and coach you. Whereas opposed to me picking up a player for maybe the same amount of money, same opportunity, I could sign a player who I don't have to teach and coach. Now I could take that same energy that I would have used to have to teach and coach you, and I can use that energy on taking my team to the next level and the next thing I want to go over and the next thing I want to go over. Listen, we don't have unlimited time, so I can't take the time to teach every player. If I'm a coach, I can't take the time to teach every player who comes through my system how to play 5-on-5 basketball because they never really learned it anywhere else before they got to us. I'd rather sign somebody who already knows how to play, or someone who has proven that they know how to play through their resume and through their background. So you player out there who doesn't have a ton of game experience and you're like, well, I get what you're saying, Dre, and I understand it. So what can I do since I don't have a ton of game experience? Well, what you can do is go get some. You need to go get as much live game experience as you can possibly get. Like today, you need to start getting it ASAP. Go play in a rec league or a pro-am league. Even though overseas basketball is not like that, it's better that you go play in a league and get some live game repetitions than for you to not have any live game repetitions and then try to go play overseas. You rather get some reps and have some idea how to play 5-on-5, even though the styles may be different than not playing at all, and your only experience is being in an empty gym doing things by yourself, especially those of you who don't pick up the game that quickly. Those of you who are kind of a little bit slower when it comes to learning things on a basketball court and learning concepts and new terms and the way that the game gets played. If you're slow at that, get game experience so at least you have some semblance of idea of what's going on out there on the court. Yes, work on your game by yourself, of course. I don't even have to tell you that if you're even considering becoming a professional basketball player. But those game reps are very important because the more game repetitions you get. Actually, let me tell you a story. When I was in high school, I made the high school basketball team only one time. It was my senior year. I finally made the team. Now I'm a 6'4", 180-ish pound guard at the pro level. In high school, I went to Engineering and Science High School in Philadelphia, PA. It's a public school, and our schools, it wasn't like the coaches were recruiting players like that. So we didn't have a whole lot of quote unquote big men. So I was literally a big man on that team. I was like the third or fourth big on the team. So we had our 2 starting big guys were seniors like I was. They was both about my height. They was both about 6'4". I was about 6'3", 6'4". And if one of them got in foul trouble or the coach didn't like how they was playing, then he might give me a chance in the game, or he might give somebody else a chance over me. But that was pretty much my role. But before practice every day, and I barely played. My senior year of high school, I barely played. I averaged like 2 points a game. So for the most of the season, I just had a front row seat from the bench watching the games. But before practice every single day, I used to play like a running game or one-on-one with one of my teammates, this dude named Darian. Now, he was the best player on the team. And me and him, the reason we played one-on-one, I'm at the end of the bench and he's the best player on the team. Why would he play me? Is because we were in the same class during the day. So we were around each other a lot, so we got comfortable with each other. So I just talk trash to him, like jokingly, like I say I was better than him. He'd be like, all right, Jay, let's see when we get to practice, let's play a little one-on-one, this and that. So he just wanted to shut me up and prove himself, and I was willing to play with him because, of course, he was way better than me at that time. Now, he was a guard. He was about 6 feet tall, really quick. He led the team in scoring. He averaged like 20-something points a game. He made all-city. He was on an all-city team, ended up playing scholarship college basketball and all that. I ended up passing him once we got to the pro level, but at the college level, high school level, he was way better than me. But me and Darren used to play this one-on-one before practice every day. And overall, over the course of the whole season, he was probably beating me in the game. We weren't even keeping score because every day before practice, we would just play for a few minutes. Then the coach would come in, blow the whistle, and practice would start. But he would score on me and stop me at times, many times. But there were also times when I would do a move and it would work, I would score on him. Or he would try to score on me and I would stop him. And that meant a lot to me because I'm here sitting at the end of the bench. It's my only year on the team. I don't have any game experience. I had no resume whatsoever. And when the season was over, I still had no resume. It's not like I went to a college coach and said, hey, I was playing this guy one-on-one before practice and I scored a couple points. Couldn't have used that. But the fact that that happened, and I knew that it happened, helped build a good amount of confidence in me because I'm like, this guy is all city and I'm actually hanging with him. I'm actually scoring on him. I'm actually stopping him. He overall won the game, but it ain't like he was just destroying me like it wasn't like I didn't belong on the court. I was holding my own, and that built a lot of confidence in me. So then when we get to the games and he's playing the whole game, scoring 30 points. I'm sitting on the bench, maybe scoring 2 or 4 points in a game. I don't think I ever scored more than 4 points in a game in high school. And the whole thing is this. As I remember that, and I'm like, man, I knew I had just as much talent as this guy had. I just didn't know how to use it. I did not have any confidence in the game. I didn't know what to do in the game. I didn't know how to move around the court. I didn't know what to do. If I got the ball in the game, I wouldn't have any idea what to do. Yeah, we all understand you can shoot it, pass it, or dribble it. But when you're out there on that court, in front of that crowd, and you get the ball in a live 5-on-5 game, it's not as easy as it sounds, right? Especially when you don't have the experience. So once I got more game repetitions, once I got to college and I was playing pickup every day and I connected with some guys who could really go and they had the same mentality about playing pickup all the time and working out all the time, I got a whole lot more game experience, either through 5-on-5 games, recreational games, and of course games being on the college basketball team. And that's when I started to get my confidence started to grow. And when my confidence grew, the skills were already there. The talent was already there, but I had no way of showing it because I didn't know what to do and I didn't have the belief and the innate belief. I'm not talking about the belief like, yeah, I know I can dribble, shoot, and pass, but the innate belief of when you get on that court, knowing that you can actually do something and then actually executing and doing it. I didn't have that until I got the game repetitions. So you players out there, and I hear from players often who ask me things like, Dre, what does it mean to move without the ball? Or how do I know how to create spacing on the court and things like that? That's not something that I can answer by just sitting here and talking to you on video. Hey, you need to do this and this. It's not even if I was a coach, right? And I made X and O whiteboard videos for basketball players. I'm sure there's somebody online who does that already. Even watching that is not the same as you actually being on the court and getting the experience of actually doing it. You need to be on the court and do it. I mean, you've been on a team before and the coach drew up a play and said, all right, well, when we in the game and they're on this way, the other team is this way, we're going to do this, then this, then this. And it all sounds theoretically good, right? And then y'all practice it with no defense and it all looks good. And then you get in the game and it's completely different, right? Because the opponent, you can't factor that in, and you can't factor in just the live experience factor that changes everything from a controlled environment like practice where everybody's comfortable because you know everybody and everybody's there at the same time every single day. That's where the live game repetitions come in. And understand that this concept, just like damn near everything that I talk about, this could be a metaphor for anything that you do in life. It's not just repetitions on a basketball court. This could be repetitions when it comes to, for you gentlemen out there, talking to girls. All right, there's one thing to rehearse what you're going to say when you talk to a girl before you see her. There's another thing to say it when she's standing right there in front of you. There's another thing, any of you who's ever done any professional speaking, whether that be on video or actually in front of a live audience like I do. There's one thing to practice your speech when you're by yourself in the mirror and you're like, all right, yeah, I got it perfect. And then you get in front of that room and there's 5,000 people in the room and now you got to say the same thing. You need repetitions in doing that. Most people don't just take to that naturally. You got to get out there and actually do it. It's one thing to be in a car driving simulator video game type thing. Another thing to be actually out on that road with real drivers and you got to operate that vehicle. So those live game repetitions build a level like I talked about when I talked about building the confidence by playing in the road games. It builds an innate level of confidence that is not something you really describe in words. It's just a self-assurance that you have, knowing that you've been through the situation and you know exactly what to do in that situation. And I want y'all to understand that professional basketball teams overseas, they're looking at that. They are considering how many game repetitions, how much game repetition does this guy or this girl have under their belt? Because when we sign them, we're hoping that they got enough that they know what they're doing. They can step on this court and actually help us, not we got to teach them everything from the ground up. So make sure you get as many game reps as you can, as soon as you can, because teams are going to look at your resume. They're going to guesstimate how many repetitions you got, and then they're going to look at everybody else they're thinking about. And if they see other people who have way more repetitions than you have, unless they think they're just trying to save some money, they're probably not going to sign you. They're not going to give you a chance because you ain't got the game reps. Or unless you ain't got the game film that shows you know what to do out there on that court. That's why all these elements go together. So get out there, get some game reps, go join the team, get in the league, play in a tournament, anything where there's officials and a scoreboard and referees, there's also some players who can actually play. All right, don't just go get in any garbage league just to say you played in one. Go somewhere where people can actually play and challenge yourself and learn how to play 5-on-5 basketball. Because if you don't know how to play, it could cost you an opportunity, even though you have the talent. So again, for those of y'all who don't know, we putting all these audios. If you're listening to this on audio, you're on the podcast already. But for those of y'all who are watching this on video, we're putting these up on the Overseas Basketball Blueprint podcast. Is on all the podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play. Y'all know what all the usual suspects are. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Please leave a rating of the show and a review of the show to let people know, even if it's not of this one, maybe it's some material that you already knew about me from back in the day or whenever. Leave a review and let people know the value we putting out here in the game, so people know this is the place to go when it comes to getting that game for playing professional basketball overseas. And for those of y'all who have not yet gotten the free book, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint, make sure you go to balloverseas.com. That's a 237-page book for all players who want to play professional basketball overseas, male or female. Right now, the complete framework, complete blueprint is right there, balloverseas.com. Work on your game.